So welcome everyone to our Bhagavad Gita group. I'd just like to start with some prayers to our spiritual masters. Agena Timarandasya Gananjana Shilakaya Choksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto my spiritual master, who with the torchlight of knowledge has opened my eyes which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance. Namaste Shila Bhakti Vijay Gaurvarnya Shimurti Prema Bhakti Rasambade Param Vijay Prabhavi Namaha. Namam Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutle Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Shamaniti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Charni Navashesha Srinivadi Pastata Deshtarani. Namam Vishnu Paraya Radhikaye Priyatme Shrimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Namane. Shri Shri Deva Goswamiraj ki jai, Shri Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai, Shri Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. So, as we've said many times before, our only hope is our connection with the Guru, with the spiritual master. By his grace we can receive the grace of Krishna. So everything, our spiritual life, our complete spiritual life, depends on our relationship with the spiritual master. So I'd like to sing one song to honor the Guru by Sri Narottam Das Thakur. If you have a look on your slips there, it's the one Shri Guru Charana Padma. That's the one we'll sing. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the A4, no? It's a A4 sheet. You'll see the song Shri Guru Charana Padma. Have you got that one? Shri Guru Charana Padma. You got that, Prabhu? So if you like to sing along, it's very nice. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sad. Oops, I'm sorry. Shri Guru Charana Padma. Oh, my guitar. There we go, sorry. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bandhamu Savada Vate Yahara Prasadeva Deva Vatoriyaya Krishna Prapti Hoja Guru Mukha Padma Bhagya Chitite Koreya Arna Kori Omani Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Desi Ukamayati He Prasadi Chakodana Dilo Ye Janme Janme Prabhu Se Dibya Gyan Vide Prabhu Shito Prema Bhakti Ahote Avidya Vinashayate Vediga So I'd just like to read the translation of that song. The lotus feet of our spiritual master are the only way by which we can attain pure devotional service. I bow to his lotus feet with great awe and reverence. By his grace one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto me. Give me the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. So we hear in the Bhagavad Gita that there is a spiritual world. We are here in the material world, but we hear from Bhagavad Gita that Lord Krishna, that there is a spiritual world, the spiritual sky, and it's called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha means unlimited. It also means place of no anxiety. Vaikuntha. So, in this world, we are called conditioned souls. In the spiritual world, they are liberated souls. Liberated souls. In that world, there is only remembrance of Krishna, whereas in this world, it's forgetfulness of Krishna, ignorance. Just like we heard in this prayer, that by the grace of the spiritual master, our ignorance is destroyed. Ignorance. What is that ignorance? Conditioned souls have 4 defects. We cheat, we commit mistakes, our senses are imperfect, and the 4th defect is that we are illusioned. This thing, illusion, a lot is written about that in the Vedic literature. The word is Maya. M-A-Y-A, to be in illusion, is what everybody in this material world has this defect, that we are in illusion. Maya. So what is that illusion? We misidentify with this body and the mind. We think that I'm this body and I'm this mind. This is illusion. It's not true. And as a result of that illusion, thinking that I'm this body, I'm this mind, instead of realizing I'm the soul, as a result of that misidentification, we suffer. That is the root cause of our suffering. There's no other reason. The reason we suffer is we misidentify with this body and mind. We think, we feel, we live as if I am this body, I am this mind. And therefore we suffer, isn't it? So, how do we get free of that illusion? How do I stop thinking and feeling that I'm this body? I'm black, I'm white, I'm a housewife, I'm a lawyer, I'm this, I'm that, I'm South African, I'm Swahili, Botswana, whatever. This is illusion. This is not true. This is because I'm a conditioned soul. I can fall into illusion. I'm in illusion. How do I get free? Because I'm suffering. Because of that illusion, I'm suffering. I'm not this body. I'm the spirit soul. I have nothing to do with this body. I'm traveling on this body at the moment, but I'm not the body. I'm a passenger on this machine. So this is a very serious situation. Misidentify. Who are you? What is your identity? I'm not black, I'm not white, I'm not a housewife, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not South African. I'm not those things. I'm the soul. Pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna. That is who I am. That's my identity. But everybody in the material world, all the creatures, the 8,400,000, the plants, the aquatics, the animals, the insects, the human beings, they all have this illusion that they are the body. Every single one of them in the material world. And they suffer because of that. If there's no illusion, there's no suffering. So how do I get free of the illusion? How do I realize I'm not this body? I'm not this mind. I'm pure spirit soul. I'm part and parcel of Krishna. How do I do that? Nothing can help you except the mercy of God. You cannot get free of that illusion. No, it's too thick. We've been thinking that I'm this body for millions and millions of lifetimes. In this body, that body, cat, dog, animal, cat, insect. That illusion has been thick, 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 thick for a long, long time. How are you going to get free of that? Only by the grace of God. No other way. And how will He help you? Through mantra. Mantra. Mantra means the divine holy name that frees your mind, that breaks that illusion, destroys the ignorance, as it says in this prayer. The mercy of the Guru destroys the ignorance. Destroys, that means it's finished. It will not come back. The light, when the light comes, the darkness goes. That's all you need to get rid of the darkness is the light. You don't need anything else. And that light comes from Krishna through the Guru, the light of transcendental knowledge. So this mantra, this holy name, is our great hope for deliverance. Mantra. And there's a lovely verse, if you have a look, I gave everybody one slip, you can see the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, this verse here. There's a verse here, explains very nicely actually. It's from a book called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just like we're going to read a chapter from Bhagavad Gita, which is the Song of Krishna, the undergraduate study. Then after that comes Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the describing the activities of the Lord and His devotees. And then graduate study is Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is the activities and character of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Gauranga, the golden Krishna. So this verse comes from that book. So we can try to say a little bit together. First word, Katanchana, Smrite, Yasmin, Dushkaram, Sukaram, Bhavet, Vismite, Viparitam, Syat, Sri Chaitanyam, Namamitam. So we can read the English together. Things that are very difficult to do become very easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Lord Gauranga. So this verse is very, very, very important. It explains that by remembering God, by remembering the Lord, even easy things, if we forget the Lord rather, even easy things become very difficult. But if we remember the Lord, even difficult things become very easy. How powerful is that? Why? Because the power of the Lord is unlimited. The mercy, the love is unlimited. He's the Supreme Controller. So this is our great hope. Everybody's struggling in this world, isn't it? Struggle, struggle, one struggle, this struggle, different struggles. Struggle with the mind, struggle with the body, struggle with other people, other living entities. The elements, the heat, the cold, there's a struggle going on. But Krishna is in charge of everything, in control of everything. So if we harmonize with Him, if we dovetail with Him, if we take shelter of Him, take shelter. Huh? We're tiny little souls. We're tiny little souls. We need shelter. We're not all powerful, all knowing. No, we're very limited. So we take shelter. How do we take shelter? We chant the name of the Lord. How about that? Such a simple process. You don't have to go and sit in a big university and study all the scriptures for thousands of years, or go to the Himalayas. No. No. You just chant the names of God. Anywhere, any place, any time. Even if you're illiterate, you can't read a book, it's fine, no problem. You chant the names of God and see how the shelter comes. You want shelter, yeah? Perfect shelter. This we have to realize. So we can start tonight a little bit chanting the Jagoranga mantra. We'll just move our wonderful camera here. And everybody know the mantra? First word is Shri. Can everyone say Shri? Shri. Goranga? Jai? Goranga? Gor? Goranga? Nam. So we're praying to the Lord for service. That's when we're happy. When we're serving the Lord, we're happy. This is the great science of Krishna consciousness, that our happiness is to be engaged in the service of the Lord. And in this age especially, to simply hear and chant the holy name is very wonderful service.
That was especially for that.
Hare Krishna. Very, very good, very, very good. Thank you very much. Jai 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 Gauranga. Nitai, 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 nitai. Very good, very good, very good. So, we like to read the Bhagavad Gita. So most of you know something about Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is the oldest book in the world, and it teaches Bhakti Yoga. How do we connect with God? And the way to connect is through love. Love is the strongest connection. So this book, Bhagavad Gita, is a conversation between Lord Krishna, Supreme Lord, and his devotee Arjuna, which took place on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, most recently 5,000 years ago. Just before a battle, huge battle for the world. It was a war of the whole world. And Arjuna is a great prince, he's a warrior, a great fighter. So his duty is to fight, but in this case he's being asked to fight with his own family members. So it is a war between family members, very difficult situation. So this conversation takes place on the battlefield, just before the war. Two armies are there, and Krishna is there on the chariot with Arjuna, in the middle of the two armies on the battlefield. And they have this conversation. It takes about 1 hour before the battle. So it's a very powerful teaching that we will hear. So I'll read a chapter and then we'll talk a bit about it. This is chapter 1. It's called Arjuna's Despondency. While sitting nearby the great field where his sons were about to engage in conflict with his pious nephews, Dhritarashtra, the blind and aging monarch, inquired of his trusted secretary, Sanjay, my sons and the sons of Pandu, my departed brother, have now assembled in the sacred field known as Kurukshetra. Please tell me what they have accomplished in their preparations for battle. Sanjay, who had been enabled to envision things even at a distance, by the mercy of his spiritual master Vyas, then began to answer, describing the scene near the military front. After surveying the formations into which the Pandava armies had arranged themselves, your eldest son, King Duryodhana, approached nearby his teacher, Dronacharya, and addressed him as follows. O my revered teacher, just cast your vision upon the mighty military forces arranged into phalanxes under the supervision of your brilliant student, Drishtadyumna, the son of Drupada. There, alongside Bhima and Arjuna, stand many valiant warriors who are practically equal in valor with them. Duryodhana, Virat, and Drupada are amongst those great bowmen, each of whom could defeat 10,000 archers in single-handed combat. Drishtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purijit, Kunti Bhoja, and Shaibya, all powerful heroes, pillars of the human civilization, stand there as well. Yudamanyu the mighty, Uttamoja the brave, along with Abhimanyu, the son of Subhadra, and Draupadi's valiant sons are all aligned together against us. Great indeed is their prowess with bow and chariot. But now, O most cultured of men, I shall speak to you about the great commanders who have taken charge of my armies. Please take note with care. Your own good self, as well as Bhishma, Karna, Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, and Bharishrava, are all undefeated champions who have never failed to be victorious in battle. Many other great heroes as well are fully ready to give up their lives for my cause. All are very well armed with the most potent weaponry and are expert in the strategic aspects of warfare. There is no way to measure the full strength of our forces, and what is more, we have the shelter and leadership of our great and noble grandfather Bhishma. Our opponents, on the other hand, have a far limited force led by the less experienced general Bhima. Now all of our forces have been well arranged in the various parts of the field, and the strategy has been well developed. So I request you and all our generals to give the fullest possible cooperation to grandfather Bhishma. Then victory is sure. Sanjay continued, Bhishma Dev the elder, the grandfather revered by both the armies, then blew upon his conch shell and sent a sound like the roar of a lion through the ether. Hearing this, Duryodhana became elated, relishing the thought of victory. His armies responded by simultaneously releasing an uproarious vibration of conch shells, bugles, trumpets, and all kinds of drums and horns. The sound was tumultuous. Remaining on a powerful chariot, drawn by cloud-white horses, Lord Krishna, the husband of the goddess of fortune, along with Arjuna, the second eldest of the 5 Pandava brothers, blew their sacred conch shells. The master of all sentient beings, Lord Krishna, blew his conch of the name Panchajanya, and Arjuna blew his, the great conch named Devadatta. Then General Bhima, who is famous as the performer of impossible tasks and for his wolf-like appetite, blew his conch, the pound drum. The conch shell named Ananta Vijaya, which means unlimited and complete victory, was sounded by the rightful king Yudhishthira, and the 2 younger Pandava brothers, Nakula and Sahadev, then blew their horns named Saghosh and Manipushpaka respectively. O ruler of the world, the king of Varanasi and the great warrior Shikhandi, the heroic Drishtadyumna and the noble prince Virat, Satyaki and King Drupada of the Panchalas, along with his sons, as well as many other great warriors, such as Arjuna's son Abhimanyu, none of whom had ever seen defeat in the field of battle, then sounded their conch shells one after another. The great symphony produced by the vibration of all the Pandava horns seemed to shatter heaven and earth, as well as the confidence in the hearts of those allied to Dhritarashtra. Thereupon, surveying the forces that had been assembled by Dhritarashtra's sons, Arjuna stood on his chariot, upon which was flying his flag, emblazoned with the figure of Hanuman, the monkey devotee of Lord Ram, and took up his bow, preparing to release his arrows. O mighty king, Arjuna then spoke these words to the Lord of all beings, Sri Krishna. O you whose nature is supreme perfection, please lead our chariot forward between the 2 armies, so that I may observe the great forces that have assembled here out of their desire to make war. Let me see with whom I must struggle in the impending strife. I wish to see those who have come together to fight with us, desiring to endear themselves to Duryodhana, who is beset by crooked intelligence. Sanjay narrated, O descendant of the noble line of Bharat, upon hearing the words of Arjuna, who is famed for his victory over ignorance, the proprietor of the senses, Lord Krishna, then drew their car, which was the finest amongst chariots, forward to the middle ground between the armies. There in the foreground, not far from Bhishma, Drona, and all of the great world leaders, Sri Krishna, the omniscient Lord, said, O beloved son of Pritha, just observe the great assembly of the Kurus. There Arjuna could observe his fathers and grandfathers, his revered teachers and uncles, his brothers and sons, grandsons and friends, his father-in-law and his well-wishers, who were all standing there amidst the legions of the 2 armies. Seeing all of his relatives brought together in such perilous circumstances, Arjuna became pervaded with a great compassion for them, and while he was thus lamenting, he spoke as follows. O Krishna, after seeing all of these, my own dear kinsmen, assembled in such a militant spirit, the limbs of my body have begun to shake, and my mouth has become parched. My body is trembling, and my hair is standing on end. My famous bow, Gandiva, is falling out of my hands, whilst my skin feels as if on fire. O Keshava, O Krishna, I do not feel that I can remain here any longer. I am suffering from the shock of all this madness, which seems unable to produce anything besides the anomaly of that which we seek. O my Lord, why are we here? No good can come from killing our own relatives, and neither can I wish to become victorious in such a fight. Even upon winning, I could not derive any happiness from the kingdom thus obtained. My dear Govinda, satisfy of the senses of all, of what value will such a kingdom be? Of what value will happiness or even life itself be, when all those with whom we could enjoy such a happy life have now taken up their places on the battlefield? O killer of the demon Madhu, when the lives and wealth of my revered teachers, my sons and my fathers, my grandfathers, maternal uncles, my father-in-law, and all my dear friends are about to be lost, why should I desire to kill them, even if unrivaled sovereignty of the 3 worlds were at stake? O shelter of all, O my beloved Krishna, I can find no pleasure in the thought of fighting merely for the control of this earth. We will certainly incur sin for such acts, even though they be felonious aggressors. Surely the sons of Dhritarashtra, our own dear friends and kinsfolk, do not deserve death from our hands. So how, my dear Madhava, can we hope to become happy by such killing? O shelter of all beings, having been overcome by greed, they are unable to see the great fault of killing dear friends and family members. We, on the other hand, will certainly incur sinful reaction if we participate in such a struggle, knowing fully well the great crime committed by the destruction of family and dynasty. With the destruction of the dynasty and of the family's eternal religious values, the family will be completely overtaken by irreligion. With the rise of irreligion, the ladies of the house will become polluted, and when the flower of womanhood has thus been tainted, illegitimate and unloved children will be conceived. The entire family will then be afflicted by the hellish condition which the uncultured children will create. In such families, the obligations to make offerings for the well-being of the ancestors will certainly be neglected, and our forefathers will suffer deprivation. Those who destroy family religious values devastate in turn all cooperation within the community and all social values. I have heard from authoritative sources that those who destroy family religious traditions are always kept resident in hell. Oh, what a mysterious turn of fate it is that we proceed to commit such a great sin, being impelled by greed for the happiness enjoyed by kings. For this we are prepared to kill our own dear ones. Instead of meeting our cousin brothers on the field of battle, it is my conclusion that it would be preferable for me to allow myself to be killed, without taking up arms or resisting. Sanjay then said, being deeply disturbed in mind, Arjuna then cast down his bow and arrows and sat lamenting on his chariot. I just want to read a few verses from the next chapter so that we can understand the situation better. Then Arjuna says, I would prefer to live in the world as a beggar rather than enjoy a grand life sprinkled with the blood of my gurus. Although they lust to gain the things of this world, their position nonetheless commands my reverence. I cannot say whether it is better for us to win this war or to lose it, and neither would I care to go on living if all these cousin brothers of ours must die. I know that this confusion which I feel within my mind in regards to my service has come about on account of certain deep weaknesses of spirit, but I have the greatest confidence in your advice. Now I approach you for your shelter, praying that you will accept me as your disciple and enlighten me with suitable instructions. So this verse, this last verse where Arjuna says to Krishna, he's confused about his duty. He's confused about his duty. He's a warrior, he's a prince. In those days, the princes, the royalty, were great, great souls. They were great fighters. They were heroes. They were great heroes. Why? Because they protected the world from any evil rulers, any evil attempts to take power. The princes would go out and fight themselves. As you heard, they were called Maharati, which means he could fight alone with 10,000 archers. He could fight alone. Because their weapons were not ordinary weapons. Their arrows were not ordinary weapons. Supernatural weapons. So they were great heroes, great fighters. And they fought for God. They fought for what was divine. These are the princes of those days. The royal princes. And yet, now, he's being asked to commit violence against his own family members, his cousins, to fire and shoot and kill them, like that. So he thinks, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. So he's confused. His duty is to fight, but to kill his own family? He says, now I'm confused. And he says to Krishna, now I approach you for your shelter. This is very important. Please accept me as your disciple and enlighten me with suitable instructions. Like that. So this is the situation for all of us. He says in Sanskrit, this is the verse. Karpanya dashopahata sabhabaha prachamitvam dharma samudachetaha yachtraya shanishtitam bruhitan me shishyasteyam shadimam tvam prapanam. Shishyasteyam means now I'm your disciple. No more friendly talk. The situation is too serious, too painful, too difficult. So he asks Krishna, you please instruct me. So this is the position of everyone in this world. We don't want to get old. We don't want to die. We don't want to get sick. But it's forced on us. Nobody wants that. You don't want it for yourself. You don't want it for your kids, your loved ones, to get old, diseased, and die. We don't want that. So it's a perplexing situation. Here we are. We're alive. We're conscious. We want happiness. We don't want trouble. We don't want strife. No, but it comes. It's forced on you. You cannot stop it coming. No way. So this is our situation. Very perplexing. But as human beings, we have a special gift. The dogs and the cats, the camels and the asses, all the lower species, they just die, they get sick. They have no understanding of what's going on. They suffer, but they have no understanding of how to end that suffering. That's why we have this expression, you die like a dog. No understanding. But as human beings, we have higher intelligence, higher consciousness, so we can see the problem. The problem is, I don't want to get old, I don't want to get diseased, I don't want to die. I want to live forever. Happy, peaceful life, that's what I want. But not in this material world. What to do? This is the big problem. People say, I got problems, I got tax problems, I got health problems, this, that. No. The big problem is, you got to die. That's the big problem. If you can't solve that problem, you're not solving any problems. This is a fact. So this is the human situation. We have the capacity to understand that. And fortunately, Krishna and his representatives come and say, I will pick you up out of this ocean of birth and death. I will take you up. I will pick you up. You are drowning in the ocean of birth and death. I will pick you up. As a human being, I can understand that. Dogs and cats cannot understand that. So, we need to be very serious about the situation and understand what to do. When you have a serious situation, you need a very serious attitude to your situation. That's why it's essential as a human being to understand that this world of birth, old age, disease and death is not what we want. No adjustment will ever change that. You can live in Beverly Hills, you can drive a Porsche, you can fly to the moon. It will not change the cruel laws of material nature. That's a fact. So as a human being, I have the intelligence to understand, okay, so what is the solution? God is my only hope. God is my only hope. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Spirit. And let me take shelter of the Supreme Spirit. With my whole heart. With my whole heart. That's required. No half measures. No. Krishna says, not only Krishna, all the scriptures they say like that. Thou should love the Lord thy God with thy whole heart, thy whole mind. Yeah? So as devotees, we may come to the path of Krishna consciousness and we begin to chant and read the scriptures, read the bhakti books and so forth, offer our prasadam and so on and so on. But we need to realize that to make progress, everything must come from the heart. I need to take shelter with my whole heart. I need to chant with my whole heart. Yeah? This is required. Krishna says like that the absolute truth can be perceived directly by a heart that has been transformed and melted by the ecstasy of unalloyed devotional love. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. This is how it will happen, that the heart needs to be transformed and melted. Transformation of the heart means that I call out to the Lord with my whole heart, like that. My Lord, I need your shelter. Like that. Not just Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. No. No. The name of the Lord and the Lord Himself are the same. So, to take shelter of the Lord means to take shelter of the holy name. Take shelter of the name. Worship the name. Serve the name. Is to serve Krishna. This is required. To call out from the heart. And by the grace of Guru and Krishna, we can have that heart transformation, where we begin to actually feel that I have no other shelter except the holy name. At every moment, at every second, like that. This is required. This is required. So, steady progress is what we want to make. Steady progress. And have a clear vision of where I'm going, in terms of my heart. Like that. This heart transformation. And simultaneously, being detached from everything else. Vairagya. Detachment. So Krishna consciousness is this dual process going on. I'm becoming more and more attached to Krishna and less attached to everything else. All my material attachments, false attachments, going away. Forever. Shrindatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Krishna says like that the undesirable material attachments, by His grace, will be uprooted. For one who has the desire to hear His narrations, like that. Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana. So, everything abhadra, that is unwanted, that is inauspicious in the heart, unwanted thoughts and desires, material desires, they're not an asset, they're a liability. Krishna Himself says, I will cleanse the heart of such things by the grace of Guru. So if we go on hearing and chanting, this is where we're going to go. Goodbye material attachments and attachment to Krishna, like that. So we want to make steady progress. And later on, we see what happens with Arjuna. In the beginning, he's saying, I cannot fight. I'm not going to fight. He's not surrendered to Krishna's will. But then he's confused and he says, my Lord, now I'm your disciple. The soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Submission. Submission. How does that verse go? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashanina sevya upadekshanti te gyanam gyaninas tatpadashanaha. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master, inquire from him submissively, render service to him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. So to approach the spiritual master with that surrendered mood, that I am not in a good situation. I'm drowning in the ocean of birth and death. I'm in ignorance. I'm an enemy to myself. My own mind is my worst enemy. And nobody else can help me. My mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my wife, my kids. Nobody. I'm alone. All alone. In this very dangerous situation. My Gurudev. Give me shelter, please. Give me shelter. How can I serve you? Let me follow your instructions. Give me shelter. This is the mood that the devotee has to feel. Genuinely from the heart. Not just dandavats, Dandavats. Prabhupada used to call them the dandavat men, He's falling down flat, paying his respects, but in his heart, no, he's not attached to his Guru. His Guru is just a fashion. That's not good. It's got to come from here. Like that. So, in the beginning, Arjuna says, no, I cannot fight. But then, he's confused about his duty. And then he submits to Krishna. And in the 18th chapter, after Krishna has spoken 1 hour to Arjuna on the battlefield, we can hear what happened. Here, Krishna says to Arjuna, he says, O most fortunate of souls, dear child of Pritha, have you listened to all these words of mine with single-pointed attention? Has the fog which darkened your heart lifted? And has the bewilderment which clouded your mind and will been swept away? And then Arjuna responds. Arjuna then responded as follows. My dear Lord, you are beyond all of the failings of ordinary souls, and I find therefore that all of the misconceptions that I was cherishing have been replaced by proper understanding. Now, by the grace of your causeless mercy, I can remember who I really am and understand my obligations in service to you. I am fully prepared to do whatever you expect of me. Just say the word and I shall act. Such a change. In the beginning, I cannot fight, Krishna. I cannot fight. Puts his bow down. And now, after 1 hour's conversation, he says to Krishna, just say the word and I shall act. So just see the power of the Lord's instruction. He's being asked to kill his own family members. And in 1 hour, Krishna convinces him, yes, I will take up arms. So powerful. Because he realizes that actually this is illusion. That the will of Krishna is supreme. Supremely beneficial. So we have to develop that faith as well. That whatever Krishna wants is perfect. It is perfect. And it is loving. And it is kind. The Lord is kind and gentle. Not just some of the time. All of the time. And who are we? We are His eternal servants. Therefore, our business is to carry out His will, His sweet will. We don't have any other business. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Like that. So that mood is there in all the great religions. Submission, surrender to the sweet will of the Lord. And here is the highest example given with Arjuna, that he's being called upon to fight with his own family members. And he becomes so convinced and empowered by the instruction of the Lord that he agrees to fight. And he does fight, as we know, and he is victorious. And the rightful king, Yudhishthira, is restored to the throne. So we need to try and culture this mood in our lives every day, that let me pray to know what is the sweet will of the Lord for me at every moment. And to do only that, not to have any other agenda, separate agenda. Oh yes, I'll do this for Krishna and that for Krishna, but I've got some other things that I want to do, which have nothing to do with Krishna, to do with gratifying my senses. That is illusion. We're not this body. We're not the body. The sense desires of this body have nothing to do with satisfying the soul or satisfying Krishna. So that is illusion. And it will lead to suffering. As Prabhupada says, that to be engaged in gratifying the senses of this body rather than pleasing Krishna leads to 3 things: bondage, frustration, and suffering. Wow, heavy. Bondage. What is bondage? Means that you're not free. You're a slave of your own senses. Who is your master? Your senses. And he's not a kind master. No matter how much you try and serve him with your senses, he'll never be satisfied. That's called bondage. No freedom there. When you are a slave of your own senses. Bondage. And Prabhupada says that that bondage leads to frustration. No matter how much fuel you put in the fire, it keeps on burning. The fire of material desire. No matter how much you feed it. What does that mean? Frustration. No matter how much you try and satisfy your senses, frustration. Frustration. Not satisfaction. We want satisfaction, isn't it? Yeah?
Sorry, we should talk it now.
Straight through and to the left.
Thank you, sorry.
No problem. And the third thing he says, suffering. He said that if you are a slave to your senses, you suffer. Why? Because that being a slave to your senses means I have to keep on taking another material body. Birth, old age, disease and death. Away, around and round goes the cycle, suffering. So this is the unfortunate position of being a servant of your senses. So Guru comes and says, take shelter of me and I will relieve you of that material addiction. And you will feel satisfaction instead in trying to please the senses of Krishna. It's called selfless service. Many times in the Bhagavad Gita, we see that expression, selfless service. What does that mean? I'm not calculating what I'm getting back. That's the very root of love, isn't it? There's no calculation, what am I getting back? I want to please Guru and Krishna for no other reason than I want to please them. I want them to be happy. This is selfless service, and this is actually the nature of the soul. This is the amazing thing, that selfless service is not artificial, it's not unnatural. The opposite is true. To serve your senses is unnatural, because that has nothing to do with your real self, your real soul. So that is unnatural. But to serve Krishna selflessly is natural. It's the natural life of the soul. So to awaken that natural life, we need the grace of a self-realized soul, someone who is not in that illusion. Sri Guru, Karuna Sindhu, the ocean of mercy. He's very kind, isn't it? To come here and say, oh, you are not in good shape. Look what trouble you've got yourself into. I've come to help you. Take my hand. That's what we need to do. Hold on tight. We need to take his hand. This is it. And with good intelligence we can understand. Who else can save me except God and the saints? Nobody else, that's for sure. So we are fortunate to get this message by the grace of Guru and Krishna, and now we simply need to keep on hearing and keep on applying these teachings in our life daily, and we will get elevated, relieved of all our problems, and begin to taste what it means to be an eternal servant of Krishna. So we can do a little bit more chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Can everybody say Hare?
Hare
Krishna?
Krishna.
Hare?
Hare
Krishna?
Krishna.
Krishna?
Krishna.
Krishna?
Krishna.
Hare?
Hare
Hare?
Hare
Hare?
Hare
Rama?
Rama.
Hare?
Hare
Rama?
Rama.
Rama?
Rama.
Rama? Hare?
Hare
Hare. So we're praying to the Lord to accept us and to engage us in His service. That's what it means when we chant Hare Krishna. Hey, Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Jai Jai Varanga. Jai Nityanidam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asatara Shara Shri Shimad Divine Grace Bhakti Vidya Chaitanya Ki Jai. Jai Nityanidam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asatara Shara Shri Shimad Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Raj Ki Jai. Jai Nityanidam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asatara Shara Shri Shimad Divine Grace. AC Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nityanidam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Asatara Shri Shrimad Divine Grace Bhakti Rakshak Shri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Prem Se Gahor Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Srimad Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Chamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Go Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.